Okay. We're live here playing the game together with Robert Duncan McNeill, obviously Tom Paris from Star Trek Voyager. Hi, Robert.
Hi, good to see you.
I'm Patrick, founder and CEO of gameXcite, the studio developing the game, and with me is Sarah, our lead designer.
Hello.
And
Hello, Sarah. Hello, Patrick. Good to see you both. I just want to say before you get started, this game is very impressive. I'm so impressed with what you guys have done. Creatively, the visuals are great. The story is really fun for fans to play along with our series, and I think it's wonderful. So you've done a great job.
Thank you very, very much. Yeah, we just went live with the game, so players are enjoying it around the world. And I got a lot of questions like, how do the actors react to the game? So that's what we're doing today. So feel free to react. Just to understand, we're starting the 4th sector of the game. So basically, the game has 12 sectors. They're loosely based on the show, on the story of the show. And we're starting with alliances. And yeah, let's go. Sarah, you want to say anything about where the story is at this point?
Yeah, sure. So basically, alliances based on the same named episode from the show. We're deep in the Kazon conflict at this point. Kala and Seska still try to snatch Voyager from us. And Janeway, or the player in this case, has to deal with declining morale, unhappy crew, and a big bunch of crew is threatening to leave Voyager because of these constant Kazon attacks that are wearing them down. And a little bit later in the story, Chakotay proposes an alliance with the Kazon to stop the fighting, but it's up to the player if they want to follow through with this or not. And then they have to deal with the consequences. And depending on decisions, we might even meet Trape, very nice people, no evil intentions. Yeah, so let's see how this goes.
Just to show here, we're basically showing logs of Tuvok and Tom Paris at the beginning of each sector, which narrate a little bit the past story and give an idea. And as you can hear, Robert was so kind, together with Tim Russ, with us to come into the studio and record these new lines. And well, thank you again, Robert, for doing this.
Cool.
and joining this project this way.
I love that it's got, original cast from the series with Tim and I kind of participating and helping the player to feel a part of the show. So it's wonderful.
Yes, thank you very much. It's most requested feature. So basically we're skipping a little bit of the dialogue. I think Sarah gave a pretty good idea. Kazon attacks are happening all the time and some crews threatening to leave. Just to show, I actually was pretty good in my last save in the sector, so my morale is quite up. But then again, there's a lot of things happening going on here. By the way, there is she, that's the beauty, that's Voyager. If the ship is damaged, you see that on the ship as well. The game basically has 2 main parts, and one is space exploration. So you go through different sectors, you scan the different elements in a system. Here, for example, we have a quest that we can take. We'll fly to that, but let me quickly check what resources we have here. For example, uranium, food. There's new people that we can take on board, and then we have this quest. And the other big part is actually building out the ship.
Oh, I love this. I love the cross-section of the ship to see it kind of alive and things happening in the different sectors. It reminds me of Deep Space Nine when I see the ship this way. Like it feels like the space station, all the rooms together like that is very cool.
So our inspiration for that was basically what is at the back of the actual bridge. I mean, probably in the 90s, you know better than me, was probably some plastic, right? But the idea was that the people would go there and they would manage the ship. So we took that as an inspiration and said, yeah, that's how you manage the ship, how you repair things, how you build things. But at the same time, you can also go in. So for example, I can assign Tom Paris here to the shuttle bay.
Yes.
And I will see him. Well, right now he's just standing in awe and looking at the shuttle. But he will help construct new shuttles. Or we have, for example, here, Neelix preparing food in the kitchen.
I love that. It takes me back to the set on Paramount Studios. It really does. It looks so good. What was your inspiration for Star Trek? Why tackle Star Trek? Why do this?
I have to admit, I'm personally a giant fan. I mean, maybe you see my little tribble there in the back, but I mean, I'm 44 now. I grew up with Next Gen, but really, when I was a teenager, Voyager was the show that I would watch every week, and
great.
ask people in the UK to record tapes to me and send them to me because
I remember those days. Yes, I remember.
Germany, they were dubbing, right? It took a year for them to dub it. It was a show that was, together with DS9, I have to say, very, very, very close to me. So we did some games based on Asterix and Obelix, which is a French comic before. And then after that, I said, look, we're going to do a Star Trek game. We need to do a Star Trek game.
Awesome. How big is your team that made this game? How many people?
So when we started out, we were like 6, and at the end we were like 18. So if you compare that with, I don't know, EA and Activision and all those, where the teams have hundreds of people, we're a fairly small indie team still.
Yeah.
Just very quickly, so the goal here is to prepare for Kazon attacks, right? So it's a building game to a certain degree. So I'm building, for example, here another phaser control room. It's going to be ready in a couple of cycles. And what I do is I will assign people to the different rooms. So, for example, we have a Klingon Belana. Yes, in our show, you could save her. When Belana was split up into the Klingon side. For example, we have also Ket here working in the Hydro Bay, looking at the plants. Wow. And if you assign people to rooms, basically that's where the efficiency goes up. We have a Kazon on board, which we took on earlier, and so that also makes a big gameplay input. And by the way, talking about the show, they had this Aero Shuttle planned, and there's some test footage on the internet.
Yeah. I remember hearing about that, but they never built it for the show, but you built it. That's incredible.
Yeah, so we're using it for trading, so you could go in later and you get some trading offers. And we try to make it as accurate as possible and really have you relive the show. But let's play a little bit. So I'm getting here different resources. By the way, we also have research. Just very quickly, you can research new things in engineering for the crew, but also later you unlock Borg technology. So researching something really decides how to make your ship better. You can choose whether you want Voyager to be the ship in the show, like more an exploration or science ship, or you can make it into a warship, like Deep Space Nine's Defiant.
Yes, please. Yeah, let's make it a warship.
Okay, let me, regenerative shielding, rotate shield frequencies. Yeah, rotate shield frequencies, reduce enemy shield penetration. That sounds good.
Okay.
So the game is cycle-based, so time only passes when you fly. That allows you to really strategize and think of the different resources and what you need and what you're going to do. And then when you arrive at different planets, you basically have some quick events that are based on a success chance. And the success chance here is shown with the different colors. But it's not purely luck. It's not just a lottery. It really depends on what kind of ship you have. So here, for example, we have a transporter room, which we upgraded to level 2. That's why this option has a higher chance. And yeah, but also the result that you're getting is higher. So here you can get up to 794. Here you only get 397. So as a player, you decide, do I want to go the safe route or do I want to take a risk? What do you feel like?
Let's go the safe route for now. Let's go the safe route. I want to be successful early on.
Okay. So we got additional fuel, we got some morale, and 4 new crew joined Voyager. So it's very important to have enough people to man the stations, but it's also very important that you have enough crew quarters. So you can upgrade these rooms to cram more beds in, and otherwise they'll be unhappy and your morale goes down.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what this mission holds for us. Sarah, you want to explain a little bit?
Yeah, let me see which one it is. Okay. Yeah. We now reached the side mission Innocence, also based on the same named episode from the show. In the show, Tuvok, if I remember correctly, crash lands on the moon, finds 3 children belonging to the Drayan people. then he tries to protect them, and later on there's a big reveal about the children. When we adapted the episode, we had to change it a little bit to make it work better with our gameplay. And we added a little bit of stuff at the start and at the end. And basically at the start, you meet Revis and his crew, who are very sick of radiation, and their ship is need repairs. And for the repairs, we need a very special resource which can be found on a moon from the drained people. And if we ask Neelix about them, he will tell us they are very private, they hate science and technology, they are more like people-focused. And this is a very important information for later, but we can also not ask Neelix and don't know about it. And so it's very important to sometimes use the options.
Yeah, I love that you took the existing stories and found a way for people to play along with things they're familiar with, but find different new ways of going through that same story. I think that's a really smart way to go, because some of it's familiar, but a lot of it'll be brand new for people. So that's great.
Yeah, we try to sneak in a lot of new adventure or at least story branches as possible to us.
By the
How
way,
did you?
we're being
How did you?
attacked by Kazon.
Oh no.
Oh, we're being attacked. Oh, gotta pay attention. Prepare for combat.
Let me quickly go with that. So basically, we have Voyager, but we were able to save the McNeill Raider, and in Caretaker, Chakotay rams it into this big giant Kazon ship, but we prevented that. So we have 2 ships. So we need a bit more fuel, but we also have the extra firepower. Those are our enemies. And then we slot in different heroes, and they give us special abilities. So for example, Harry can hack the shield frequencies. Tuvok has a double shot. And of course, we're taking Tom Paris, who has a very fancy evasive maneuver.
Yes, of course. Let's see this battle.
The battle pauses at the beginning. So let me just quickly explain. Here you see basically your ship and your stats, the hull, the shields, how the different systems work. I think it's overlapping for the viewers because of our video, but you have the same for your enemies. You can see what systems they have. And you have to decide, for example, it's not an X-Wing like in Star Wars, right? You're not flying the ship yourself. You're Janeway, you're giving commands, which means to the pilot and the engineer and the weapons officer. So basically, I can ask to have defensive actions, defend a certain side of the ship, or offensive actions. So in this case, it has 2 weapons, so that doesn't make sense. But the shields are like the weakest part. So I'll ask Tom to fly, and Tuvok to aim for the shield.
Side, Captain.
That's great.
You have also energy management, so I can.
Ability ready, Captain.
Okay.
I love that. Some of the gaming. I'm not a big gamer, but sometimes I'm intimidated by all of the actions of having to fly or fight or do things. But this allows you that time to take a second, think about the strategy, and then execute it. So I like that for me, for not a person familiar with gaming, that's a great way to go, because it gives me the time to sort of slow down, think about the strategies and the story. And if you're, I would think, an experienced gamer, you could fly through some of this stuff. You'd get very quick with it.
Yeah, I mean, you get used to it, but you can always hit the pause button, and do a pause. By the way, maneuver by Tom Paris.
Nice move, yes. One of my favorite moves.
So all of our heroes have special abilities, which means it makes sense to get a lot of heroes, right? And we have a lot of side characters that in the show only appeared once. Like, maybe remember the Borg one? This like son of 7 of 9 and the Doctor, this Borg. Well, you can keep him. In our game, there's a way you can keep him on board, and then you have a powerful Borg as an ally, right?
That's great. How did you fit? We had 170 episodes or something. How did you fit all of those stories into this game that I think you said has 12 sectors? How did you fit so many stories into 12 chapters of your game?
Well, we did not fit all episodes in. Many of them were a little bit difficult for us to adapt because, for example, the ones set on the holodeck, they don't offer a lot we can work with our gameplay. But we looked at the show and identified okay, which are the main events of the show, like which have big impact and which are important for the journey home. And then we had like, okay, of course, Caretaker, the Kazon conflict, Borg space with Scorpion, the Gift, the Herogen, then Arcturus and the Slipstream, Dark Frontier, Equinox, by the way, my favorite sector because writing Evil Janeway is perfection, and Endgame. And then we just built the 12 sectors around the main events and sprinkled in side missions and ship quests and points of interest, like mini stories that are also based on episodes from the show. And I think at this moment we have like 60 episodes from the game. From the show in the game.
Do you have Tuvix? Do you have Tuvix in here?
Yeah, of course.
We'll get to that. Let
I want to see some Tuvix.
Let me quickly jump in again. So this is another part of the game, which is away missions. You saw in the transporter room, I could collect my crew. And basically, I always get this preview of different things that are going to happen in the away missions and different skills. So for example, there's a command skill, there's a security skill, and a medicine skill. And then I can choose my crew. And I just went ahead. I took Tuvok, Tom, and Chakotay. And specifically, Tom is going to save the day because he's an ace pilot. And going down with the shuttle, there's a problem. So I slot him in. And yes, you see these overpaints. I mean, again, we're an indie team, so we weren't able to build all these worlds in 3D. So we tried to come up with a way where we made paintings reminiscent of the show that tell basically the story of what happened here. So we landed now. Now it's the next challenge, right? I can attempt to negotiate with Chakotay. Again, it's my chance that I have. I can have Tom check the tricorder, but he's fatigued because he just had to land the shuttle, so the chance is lower. Or I go in. Well, I use force if necessary. It's the highest chance, but it also depends on what kind of resources you want. So different options not only have a different chance, but they also give you resources. So let's go with this.
Great.
So as Sarah explained, we're on this planet and we find these children, right? In the show, it was only Chakotay. In our case, it's all three. Oh, wow. I get dilithium if I have... Okay, I'll have Tuvok stun them. Dilithium is great. Oh, yeah. Luckily. Oh, God. Let's try. Let's be a bit risky, but... Yay! Okay. Tom saved the day. So mission complete, and at the same time, basically, Janeway is being contacted by the Drayans. And as Sarah explained, they're all about where we care for people and so on. So when she asked you what is the most thing that you care about, what you after?
I think the crew.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. If you did something else, she would kick you out. And you need these resources, right, to help the other poor guys that are stranded in the other system. But now she comes up, she says, oh, there's an urgent matter. And now you have the message, oh, okay, several Drayan children were brought along. So this whole storyline that, oh, the Drayans are so barbaric, they put their children down there to die. And then Alicia comes back. You have violated our moon and abducted our people, returned them. And he's like, these are... You know, they're not children, basically. These are all elders, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a lot of decisions in there. You can trust Alicia. Okay, are these really old people? Are they sent down? Or you want to protect the children? And
I trust Alicia.
Okay. So we got the resources, and we can go back. These other poor guys. But there's another side mission there. I think we'll have to get to that. So normally, as I would play, I would also check out these planets and collect more resources and so on. But let's try to move the story forward a little bit. Okay, a lush planet where we explore the ecosystem. Oh, we're sending Tuvok and Neelix down. I think some. of you might
There we
know
go.
what-
Here comes Tuvix. I can feel it.
By the way, whenever you send one of the main characters away, or if they die, and main characters can die in the show, they're replaced by other characters. And so you're not like, oh, who's this dude on the bridge suddenly talking? Sarah and her team basically wrote a background for all of these characters. So there's, except of the main crew, there's also a bunch of new people that you're going to meet.
Wow, that's fun.
I'll keep playing a little bit for events to play out, but do you have any other questions or are there any things that are worth mentioning?
Well, like these side missions and things like that, like how do they branch off into, how does the player affect the way that you get into these different branches or different, side mission kind of things? How does that happen?
Yeah, well, as we already teased for everyone, we have a lot of what-if scenarios going on.
Yeah.
Not only in the side missions, but also in the main missions, of course. And it's a bit about finding balance. We're a small indie team, so we can't realistically come up with thousands of endings and story branches. But I think we did a good job with offering a lot of freedom to the player within the framework of the original show.
Yeah.
You can forge your own path. You can make different decisions than Janeway made back then, and then you have to deal with new consequences and problems. Oh, look, we have Tuvix now.
There's Tuvix. Yay.
But you can also stick to the original script, like you can play the Janeway way.
Right.
But I think the most important thing for the players to know is that you won't be experiencing a brand new Voyager storyline that is completely unrecognizable from the original.
Yeah.
You will experience the original with a lot of twists and turns.
That sounds great. To me, that sounds great. Like you're not having to learn everything brand new from the beginning. You can dive right into this game and really create your own adventure, but in a familiar world, that sounds great.
Yeah, we always had to make sure that the golden thread, let's say, works out in the end. Like if Seska is unalived instead of Flux, then the whole Kazon conflict might not happen. And then sometimes we had to stick to the original, but we tried to bring a lot of story branching in, so much that was possible to us.
Sorry guys, I'm trying to get more fuel here. I'm not lucky today, so a lot of them don't work out because we need to bring those resources back to the stranded guys. Oh, there's another Kazon attack. Great for this time.
Our battles.
Okay, and by the way, again, Tuvok is not available right now, right? Because he was choose Tuvok, so we have to choose somebody else.
Sure.
Kazon.
Let's take the Kazon. Sure.
Okay, this is gonna be a more tricky one. Go.
Moving to attack the port side, Captain. Ability ready, Captain.
Yeah, maybe also important to know that this what if does not only apply to the story but also to the gameplay. Just as you saw, Tuvok and Neelix are not available, so you can't use Tuvok, who was very handy in combat, right? In space combat. So what if also applies to gameplay? What if your Voyager is a warship, right? So this will make certain things easier for you, but maybe block other options. And so, the whole game is like a what if scenario. What if I do things like that? Maybe next time I do it differently. So, lot of fun. Many branches to explore here.
Yeah. I like this battle. This is going on. This is a good battle.
Enemy surrender, Captain.
Yeah, it's really the strategy. So again, you can make Voyager into a warship, which is usually what I lean for. But you can also have a ship that produces a lot of resources and then you hire your allies. Or you can go for science. We have a lot of fancy tech that was all approved by Paramount and grounded in lore, from other shows. But there's a lot of technology in there that can also help you. And by the way, very important is some combats you have people injured, you have damaged rooms, you have to repair them. So this management part of the ship basically works together. Yeah, so hull is damaged. maybe Jonas, you remember him from the show,
Mm-hmm.
the one who's going to end up betraying. But the player doesn't know that at this point, so we're hinting a little bit at him. And now, basically, Chakotay is proposing an alliance with the Kazon, right? And as a player, you can choose if you want to do that. We know what happened in the show, but do you want to go ahead or?
No, he can't be serious. Oh, okay. Yeah. Desperate times. Okay. Sure. Yeah.
Yes, or rather reject it. If you don't trust the Kazon, maybe it's better to reject.
Reject it. Yeah. That's my instinct. Yes.
People might leave. So we have this UI where basically we let you know, okay, this is an important decision. But let's go ahead with this.
So basically, to go back to the beginning, we started the sector with a problem. Okay, crew is very unhappy. Luckily, Patrick has a lot of morale already at the start, so he's on the safe side, and like the big bunch of crew won't leave. But if your morale was already
With low, you would lose crew. I see.
you would lose a lot of crew, and then you would have gameplay problems because you don't have enough people to manage your rooms and whatever. But Patrick got lucky, I guess.
Yeah.
And in the sense of freedom, so we now cut a lot of the story. Like if you choose to make the alliance, you're gonna meet Trape and all these things that happened in the show. In this case, we didn't. You can stay in the sector, you can explore more, you can look around, but eventually your crew is gonna get very desperate because they're gonna get homesick and they're gonna push you to leave. But you can stay more, or you can just say, okay, let's travel now,
great.
let's go to the next sector, and basically one sector is done.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's really fun. Really fun.
basically you just saw one sector of the game in a very
Yeah, you did it much
condensed way.
faster than I would do it. I would take much more time to think through everything. But I love that you can stay in that sector, play a different story out. You can, explore. You choose your own adventure, which is great. I love it. And there's a lot of kind of story narrative in a way that I appreciate as a director and an actor. And it sounds like you've really thought through all the details of these stories in a great way. So it's very rich.
Yeah. Thank you very much joining again, and we'll send you a key. Please keep playing.
Yes.
You can play it on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, Switch too. So on all the big platforms out there, you can play it now, basically.
Awesome. Well, good luck. I can't wait to see how excited people are. It's really fun. I'm excited that you guys have done this.
Thank you very, very much for participating.
Yay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.